If you want to be able to make money online, be able to travel the world, make money on your laptop, in this video I'm going to teach you how you can build easily a $10,000 a month online business. What's up guys, my name is Christopher. I'm the founder of the Blueprint Unlocked, and before I begin I just want to say I mentor people through this process, and if you click the link below you can join up for free. It's a free 2-day trial so you can see if you want to be part of this membership and if online business is right for you. With that said, let's jump into building this business. Now this video is going to be in 3 parts. The first part is just going to be life, and if I could go back, things that I would do a little differently to make this process faster and more seamless for me. So that's going to be part 1. Part 2 is going to be building the business, and then part 3 is going to be marketing. In other words, making money online with your online business. Now all 3 of these parts are somewhat interconnected, and all 3 of them cannot be overlooked. If you already think you have your life in order, fine, you could skip ahead to part 2 and build your business. But for a lot of people watching, motivation is a hard thing for you, and I just want to again go over some of the things that I would have done differently. So I'm going to draw a graph here, and this graph is going to be the life of an entrepreneur when they create their online business. So down here we have time, and here we have money. Now when people create their business, it usually looks something like this. And this point right here, this is when people are usually able to quit their 9-to-5 and put these 50 to 55 hours a week strictly into their business. And the truth is, your 9-to-5 job is really taking probably closer to 60 hours of mental energy away from you. You wake up early to go to work, you're thinking about work, you probably drive 15 to 30 minutes to work, then you have to drive back, then you have to decompress, and you're tired. So what so many people do is they just start like binge watching YouTube. If you want to build this business a lot quicker, you're going to have to recoup some of these hours. And the way to do that is lowering your expenses. And if I could go back, I would do exactly what I'm going to tell you. I would go on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and I'd find like a 1-bedroom in a shared house for like $350 to $400 a month, right? Because if you're paying this little, you don't have to work the 9-to-5 to pay for so much. You're not paying for things you're not using. But for you, you're gonna have to learn a lot of these skills, and the more time you have, the better. So I would honestly look at lowering your expenses to a bare minimum. And why that's gonna be hard for a lot of you is because of the opinions and the things that you're hearing from the people around you. The difference in lifestyle between $25,000 and let's just say $85,000 a year is non-existent, right? You might have 1 extra bedroom, your flat screen TV might be a little bigger, but this is where most people are living. In reality, the top 1% is earning north of $800,000 a year. So the difference in lifestyle is gargantuan. It's in another realm. You could rent a private jet. You could have the sport car you always wanted. You can travel the world. You could whatever. So don't get caught up in this game of life where you're competing at low-level jobs, or you want to stay somewhere for 30 years because at the end of the 30 years you might now be making $85,000 a year. It doesn't compare with the top 1%. And the top 1%, they do one of 2 things. They either build a business or they become like the best in the world at one thing. And someone told me when I was younger, it doesn't matter what the thing is, if you're the best in the world at it, you're going to be rich. But for us, we're going to be building a business, building an online business, which is going to allow you flexibility to travel, make money from your laptop, things like that. So let's get into part 2. Let's actually build a business. Yeah, and for example of this video, we are going to be doing a high-ticket online course. And what that looks like, what I've created, it's called Fresh Fortune. Build a 6-figure cleaning business 100% online. So it's an online business that teaches people how to build a 6-figure a year cleaning company. Now, have a very open mind here, because the awesome thing about online businesses is there's an infinite amount of niches. and there's an infinite amount of digital products that you could create. So just because the example in this video is for cleaning, it can literally be anything. The other cool thing about online business, you only have to be an expert at one thing, and this is the process that I'm going to be teaching you. You don't have to be an expert. Like, for example, I don't have to know anything about cleaning to build this business. And that goes without saying with any niche that you want to go into. Granted, it always helps if you do love the subject because it just makes it more enjoyable to work on. However, you can do your research and examine markets and find which niches are maybe lacking at evaluation in the market point, or which niche doesn't have this digital product that might sell really well. So for example, if you did some research and you looked at the cleaning business and you found, hey, this doesn't have an online course. Well, now there's a hole and there's an opening. You can go jump into it and take that space in the market. You can either, you love the business that you're making an online business centered around, or you have found an opening in the market. So that's the business that we're going to be building, a high-ticket online course. And what I'm teaching you here is based on a 6-step method that I teach members in the blueprint. And essentially, once you get through these 6 steps, you have built a business. That's step 1. Step 2 is getting a business name. And the easiest way to get a business name is to just use ChatGPT. As you're going to see, you can use AI to automate a lot of this process for you. And I just looked through them. A Fresh Fortune formula, I just went with, Fresh Fortune. I like the name. And we're also going to get into designing an effective landing page pretty soon here. But you're going to choose a business name, and then you want to run a domain search. I recommend Wix domain searches because I teach people, I guide them through building an online business using Wix. So that's what I know. This name is going to be taken because it's just a good name. FreshFortuneCo.com, it's pretty good. FreshFortune.net you could do. But what you're going to do is you just ask ChatGPT, find a name, run it through a domain name search. As soon as it's available, you want to go ahead and buy it. I'd also like to say I go through all of this in detail. If you click this link right here, it'll take you to my business playlist, and I go into, very fine details on each one of these points. This isn't an official step, let's just say 2A, but you should really start this at the very beginning. Is just start saving every receipt, every invoice, save every dollar spent. And by save, I just mean track, because at the end of the year, you can write all of this off on your taxes because it's going towards your business. Now, step number 3, you have your niche, you have your business name, is going to be creating an LLC. Creating an LLC is extremely important. And the main reason is because of traffic. This isn't a cafe. This isn't one house that someone would be cleaning. And cleaning is an example. Choose any niche that you want. You're getting thousands of people, visiting your site every month, every week. And with increased traffic comes increased risk. So if I was to draw this out here, it might look something like this. This is you and this is your LLC. So you are just managing this newfound entity that you created. It's its own kind of bubble. It's a business. It's not you. It's its own thing. This would be, Fresh Fortune LLC, right? So if this guy over here decides to sue your LLC, he could only sue what belongs to the LLC. Your LLC might own a video camera that you're running this business with, or a laptop. It separates you from the business. Now, to create an LLC, it's really easy. I just recommend going to Zen Business. I'm not sponsored by them, nor am I sponsored by any company in this video. But if you go to zenbusiness.com, you can create your LLC in 20 minutes. And this leads into step 4. As I said, there's only 6 steps, and then you have an online business. Step 4 would be making a business bank account, right? Because that's why we're doing this. You can get paid. Your business can get paid. And the way to do this is after you form your LLC, let's say through Zen Business, you can opt in to get your EIN number, which is like a social security number for your LLC. So you have your social security number. By the way, I'm not a lawyer. This is all for educational purposes. This LLC will have an EIN number. Well, you're going to take this EIN number and an official letter from your state saying that your business is formed, and you're going to take these to any bank that you want, and then boom, they give you a business bank account. It's really that simple. Now, step 5, as I said, there's only 6 steps, is going to be creating a digital product. Now, as I said, we're doing a high ticket course. So a high ticket course is going to sell between $650 and probably, $1,200. But this is the product. Your product could be many things. It could be an ebook. It could be a shared folder or files, audio, video files. It could be a membership. It could be a consultation type business. You could do a community. And then, you could do a course. But the list goes on and on and on. So as I mentioned earlier, you only have to be an expert in the process that I'm teaching you. So if you find a niche that you love or you find an opening in the market, essentially what you would do is link up with the expert and you would tell them, hey, I have an idea that I think can make both of us money, and you don't have to pay me a dime until we start making money. And all you would need from them is to make a video course and then access to film for social media. However, you may not even need to film this specific niche on social media to make money. So if you want to travel and make money from your laptop, you can set up different ways where you're really not doing any of this, like personally. So you would link up with an expert and you would just say, hey, I have an idea for an online business. You don't have to pay me anything. You only get paid when we start making money. So when you link up with them, you can make a course with them, and it could be really simple. So I have never tried this. That teaches how to build a 6-figure cleaning business. Let's see. So there you have it. You have an outline for this course, just like that. So that would be the digital product for this. Again, a high ticket course. Now, again, for me, I've been a professional video editor. I made a feature film when I was 23. Most of my life has been working with the camera. So this would be very easy for me to make something professional. For you, it might be a little harder. And I would say realistically, you could do it in 2 months. But again, we're doing a high ticket online course. You could do an ebook in 2 days if you wanted. You could set up a community in 2 hours if you wanted. So these are easier online businesses that you could get into. Probably won't make as much, but the more you're willing to sacrifice, the greater chances are you're going to get what other people don't have. Again, this is just an example to let your imagination run wild with different possibilities and things that you could do. So step 6 is going to be building a landing page and or website for this digital product. And as I showed you, I already kind of built one out that would pretty much work right off the bat. I would fine tune some things, but it's a decent website that would work. And there's certain patterns that you just get better at hitting. And we're going to go into that really soon. Now, if you're building any online business, is these 6 steps in this order. However, your digital product can kind of change the nature of your landing page or your website. So, for example, let's say you are doing a high ticket online course, right? So this course could be delivered to your customers in many ways. It could be, again, like here, files. They could get an email with a bunch of files where they could download this course. But the way that I think you can really improve the value and you can get away from the stigma that online courses rightfully have, because a lot of them are bullshit. Online courses, they're not technically scams, but why they are so bad is because you can't give someone a course and then just expect them to not have any questions, or you expect that the course is now going to change their direction more or less. It doesn't work like that. You need a mentorship. You need a place where people can ask questions. So what I recommend for especially something like a high ticket online course is something up here like a login. So your course isn't going to be shared files. It's going to be on the back end. So every website, I'll show you my business. So here people can log in, and then in the back end, they get, course material, resources, access to private Q&As, access to the community of other members. People like to learn in different ways, and it gives them the biggest advantage to be successful, in my opinion. But although this is my website and that is the back end of things, this is still a landing page. This is still designed to display what this business is and try to get people to opt in and buy and help them out. And so that's what I would do for even a high ticket course. I'd create a back end with a login, and I would add other elements of online business, maybe a free ebook, consultation, definitely, and I'd also include a community. So I would include these 3 things just to add value. And it makes it a little harder to build it out because you're creating membership pages, you're changing permissions of pages, and you're managing more things than, say, files where someone clicks buy and then they get an email with the files or whatever. But you're going to build a landing page and website. And a good landing page really has 3 things, and I'll go over that real quickly with you. So a good landing page has a strong opening section. So a good landing page is like a good cover of a book. And what it should do is it should do a few things. The first thing that it should do is it should hit, in the sense that you immediately know what it is what is being sold. So if we go here, in about a few seconds, you kind of get it. Fresh Fortune, build a 6-figure cleaning business, 100% online. So woman over here smiling, cleaning. So it has to hit. That's one thing. The other thing that a good opening section does, it needs a call to action. So you have to be able to opt in from the very first visual you see. The other thing that it needs is some social proof. So a good thing to do is right under your call to action, go ahead and put your reviews in right under the button. It just entices people to click more. Some other psychology here is, create my business. The word my makes people more incentive to click. If it said like create your business, it's not as grabbing. And then the other thing that is associated with your call to action, depending on what your digital product is, something that costs around $650 to $1,200 here, most people are not going to buy the first time. Now, if I would set it up so if they wanted to buy, obviously they could, but most people are going to be sold on the back end through some kind of retargeting. So the way to do this is with an email and phone number. You want to get this information as quickly as you possibly can, because the truth is email marketing and text marketing is the best online business marketing that we know of yet. The reason being, it's free, you didn't pay for it, and then secondly, you're already gathering information on potential clients that have taken action on your business. It means they're warm. You don't have to convert them. They've already, in a sense, been converted. You're just pushing them along the sales process a little bit more. But so again, because it's high ticket, we want to set these things up and get them to buy. Something like my business, I don't do that because it's so cheap. It's $20 a month plus a one-time membership of $55, and I give people a 3-day free trial. So because it's only $20, I don't need to get their email and their phone number. Either you're going to join or you're not. But I've made it so you can test the waters at least for free. Again, adding value to your product, to the customer experience. So those are some of the things to look out for in an opening section. I could go real deep and talk about that more, but we'll go to the next thing, which is reviews or testimonials. So, and again, a landing page is pretty much these 3 things just repeated in different ways, aside from the opening image, which should incorporate all of these elements. Got it. So then you have testimonials here. And then you get down to here, which would be benefits. That's going to be the 3rd thing. Now, I made a mistake early on in my entrepreneurship journey, is I mistake benefits for features. So the difference is features would be something like, let's say this Fresh Fortune online course, it would be like, 100 hours of content. And you could even say something like, 98% success rate or something like that. These are features, and they don't have as much of a sales impact as something like benefits. Now, benefits are how this improves your life. So how would we describe or think about the benefits of Fresh Fortune? A benefit would be something like freedom, right? You get to work for yourself, so you have more time to spend time with your family, and with more freedom, you could do whatever you want. So that would be a benefit of this course. Another benefit is more money, but none of these benefits are really 98% positive rating or hundreds of hours of content. These are features. I would say stay away from those for the most part and only include benefits, how this would improve someone's life. You get the point. Just use benefits. And then after every section, go ahead and put your call to action again with the email and phone number. I built this landing page in approximately 20 minutes. So if I spent, 20 more minutes, it would be a lot better. I could have an image here or some copywriting text or something. But then you go down again, it would be benefit. Just fill it with benefits. And I'll also say that 90% of the people that visit your landing page, they already know what it is you're selling. So you don't have to tell them what it is so much. They already know what it is. They've seen you in marketing, the marketing side of things. Now they're coming here to opt in. And then again, you just repeat testimonials. How you have the beginning image, you want to have a closing section that kind of just mirrors that and reflects it. And that's, just a landing page in a nutshell, interconnected with a high-ticket online course. One other extremely important thing to mention here is you can just integrate AI and have AI create the website for you and then make slight alterations. Just as we use AI to come up with this online course, we use AI to generate the image for our landing page. We use AI to come up with the business name. You can use ChatGPT and different AI tools at every turn of your online business. And we're actually going to use AI to help us with our marketing. And that puts us at part 3. So before I get into part 3, realistically, how long do you think it would take you to go through this process? Well, if you were able to quit your 9-to-5 and you did gain, let's say, 40 hours in your week, I would say you could get through part 2 in building the business, at max time at like 2 months. So you can create an online business real fast. And obviously there's a lot of steps in between these things. But I've given you the information here where if you wanted to go out and learn this stuff for free, you could. I figured it out all on my own with free information. You could do the same. Okay, so let's get into part 3, marketing. So marketing, really, we're going to be using social media. That's what I would do for Fresh Fortune. And I would use a funnel. You don't have to pay for any kind of marketing or running any kind of ads for the first year, and you'll be doing fine. You'll actually be doing better in the long term because your growth will be natural. You'll be gaining trust with people who like your content, who believe in you, who've been there. It's a much better thing to do. The funnel would actually be for the email and the text marketing. And within a funnel, I would also include automations for emails. Let's say people drop out or opt out of the course. They would get an email from that and it would be automated. This isn't like a paid funnel. I would still consider it a funnel because almost every social media strategy and marketing is a funnel. People watch your content, they click your website, you're casting a net and you're catching people. But let's just talk about how to use social media to get attraction and garner views. Now, the first thing that you could do is simply go to a social media platform of your choosing. So go to Instagram and just type in like cleaning reels. Okay, so unfortunately, this is what the internet has turned into, just this kind of stuff. Okay, so this reel right here is 55.9 million views. This would be an extremely easy video to make. 55.9 million views. Okay, so I would go through here and I'd make a list of the top 100 reels if you're using Instagram as far as garnering views on social media, and then I would just copy them. And this is always a winning strategy. And I would try to do 2 a day. And if you're doing 2 a day and you're trying to improve each reel a little bit, after 2 months, you are going to be shocked at how many views you're getting if you're taking it serious. I think I've gotten around 1.2 million views in 2 months of starting a brand new Instagram account. So this is big. Find the top 100 reels in whatever niche, the hashtag that you're selling it in, copy those reels and try to do 2 a day. The other thing that you can do is use AI. So if you click the link up here, you can watch a playlist where I used AI to chop up my long form content into, it would chop it up into like 15 shorts. So this site here called Opus Pro, you drop a link in to your long form content and then the AI will chop it up into different shorts for you. It's very simple. And if you go back and you watch that playlist, I believe after 9 days I had garnered 40,000 views. So in 9 days, 40,000 views. Now, we can actually take this and do some basic math here and kind of figure out if you're using AI and you were able to generate 40,000 views in 9 days on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And you could take this math and figure out how many views you might get at the end of the year. 365 divided by 9, 40 times 40,000. At the end of the year, about 1.7 million views. That's not my opinion. It would be that much guaranteed. Obviously, it would be much more than that because the more you put in, things compound. So I would say if you're getting this within 9 days, your total is probably going to be more around 3 million views at the end of the year just by spending 15 minutes a day having AI make your shorts. Now we can also take this 3 million views and let's say one out of every 400 views decides to follow you, right? So times 0.25, you're looking at 75,000 followers from 3 million views. By using AI for 15 minutes a day to generate shorts for you, you're almost guaranteed 32,000 followers at the end of a year. Now you might think that's not that much. Is it enough to sell to? The answer to that is yes. You're able to convert 10% of this. Now if you take that number, then you multiply it by the price of the course being $650, you're looking at a $2 million business. In about a year and a half, if you're really working at it, 2 years of your life to then be making $2 million, it's pretty good. And all of this has just been very basic math, and I've made the math as conservative as I possibly could. It just goes to show the importance of getting views, and the best 2 ways I've found thus far is to research your niche with the hashtag, copy those shorts, and to use AI for 15 minutes a day. So I could go into and talk about all of this stuff for hours and hours and hours. I just wanted to give you a basic outline of how to build an online business. So I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative, and I hope it can help you escape your 9 to 5 and start making money on your terms. Bye.